Welcome to Silent Betrayal, where shocking stories of love, lies, and betrayal unfold. Get ready for jaw-dropping tales that will make you question everything. Subscribe and turn on notifications because the truth is about to be revealed. Now, dive into today's story. Avery Thompson had always thought she and Ethan Carter were the perfect couple. At 27, she had a stable career as a graphic designer and a life she had meticulously built with the man she loved. Ethan, 28, a charming architect with a reputation for being a little too friendly with women, had been her boyfriend for 3 years. They had made plans for the future together, talking about moving in, getting married, and maybe even starting a family. Life seemed to be moving smoothly, until one fateful day when everything came crashing down. It started innocently enough. Avery was going through her usual routine, coming back home from work and sitting down on the couch to unwind. But when she grabbed Ethan's phone, which had been lying on the coffee table, to check the time, she saw something she never expected: a series of flirtatious texts and intimate photos from another woman. Her heart sank, and she froze, unable to believe what she was seeing. The realization hit her like a ton of bricks. Ethan had been cheating on her. It wasn't just one message or one slip-up. It was an ongoing affair. Tears welled up in her eyes as she ran through the images and messages again, hoping it was all some kind of mistake. But it wasn't. Ethan had been meeting this woman for weeks, and the photos proved it. The betrayal was clear, and she couldn't escape the overwhelming rush of emotions that flooded her. Anger, sadness, confusion. Everything crashed over her like a tidal wave. She had given Ethan everything: her love, her trust, and her future. How could he do this to her? Despite the overwhelming urge to scream or cry, Avery composed herself and decided she would confront him. She wasn't going to let him off easy. Not this time. She wasn't the type to play the victim, but she felt like the rug had been pulled out from under her. The truth was, she wasn't sure if she was more hurt by Ethan's betrayal or by the fact that he had lied to her face every day for weeks. One thing was certain: this relationship was about to change forever. The confrontation happened 2 days later. Ethan had come home late from work, his usual smirk plastered across his face, thinking everything was normal. But Avery wasn't the same. She had been quiet, distant. The look in her eyes was different, cold. She sat across from him at the dinner table, staring at the phone in her hands, gathering the strength to finally speak the words that would shatter their relationship. "Ethan, I know about her," Avery said, her voice calm but laced with undeniable hurt. Ethan's face froze, a flash of panic passing through his eyes, but he quickly masked it with his usual nonchalance. "What are you talking about?" he asked, a hint of defensiveness creeping into his tone. Avery slid the phone across the table toward him, showing him the incriminating texts and photos. The room felt suffocating as the silence stretched between them. Ethan's face flushed, and for a moment it seemed like he was going to deny it. But then, with a sigh, he leaned back in his chair and shrugged. "It's not what you think, Avery. It's not serious. You're overreacting." Avery's anger flared, but she kept her composure. "I'm not overreacting, Ethan. You've been seeing her behind my back. I found everything. Don't lie to me." At that moment, Ethan's charming facade crumbled, and the truth spilled out. He admitted to the affair, but not with any remorse. In fact, he seemed almost indifferent to how much he had hurt her. "I didn't want to hurt you, but I wanted something different. It's not that big of a deal," he said, as if the whole betrayal was just a minor blip in his life. Avery's heart shattered into 1,000 pieces. This wasn't the man she had trusted and loved. This was a stranger. Her mind raced as she considered her next move. She didn't want to stay with someone who would treat her this way. She deserved better. But as the anger bubbled inside her, she realized she didn't just want to move on. She wanted payback. She needed a way to make him feel the hurt and humiliation he had put her through. That's when Dylan Hayes, Ethan's best friend, came into the picture. Dylan Hayes, 29, had always been in the background of Avery's relationship with Ethan. As a photographer, Dylan's quiet demeanor and ability to listen had made him a good friend to Avery. They had shared countless conversations, always about life, dreams, and the future. Dylan had always respected Avery's relationship with Ethan, but there was something he hadn't told her. He had feelings for her, deep feelings, feelings that had only grown stronger over the years as he watched her love Ethan, even as Ethan let her down over and over. When Avery confronted Ethan about his affair, Dylan was one of the first people she turned to. He wasn't surprised by Ethan's betrayal, he had suspected it for a while. What did surprise him was Avery's reaction. She wasn't crying, she wasn't begging for answers. Instead, she was resolute. She was done with Ethan. Over drinks at a local bar, Avery confided in Dylan about her pain, her broken trust, and her overwhelming urge for revenge. "I'm not just going to sit here and let him walk all over me. He deserves to feel what I'm feeling," she said, her voice trembling with anger. Dylan, who had always been there for Avery, didn't hesitate. "What do you want to do?" he asked, knowing that whatever it was, he would support her. Avery's plan was simple. She was going to get back at Ethan by dating Dylan. The idea was to make Ethan feel what she had felt: betrayed, humiliated, and helpless. Dylan, though shocked at first, agreed to help. He had always cared for Avery, and if this was the way she wanted to take control of the situation, he would stand by her side. They agreed to keep the relationship a secret at first, not telling Ethan anything until they had built enough of a bond for the revenge to truly sting. They would start casually seeing each other, making Ethan wonder if something was going on between them. Dylan's role was simple: be the supportive friend who helped Avery heal, while Avery would regain her confidence and take back the control she had lost. As the days passed, the tension between the three grew thicker. Avery and Dylan went on secret dates, spending time together in the way she had always dreamed of, but never with Ethan. They enjoyed each other's company, laughed, and shared moments that Avery had never experienced with Ethan. Dylan's kindness and attentiveness made her feel valued again. But every time they were together, Avery couldn't help but think of Ethan's reaction, the man she had once loved and trusted. It didn't take long for Ethan to notice something was off. The first time he saw Avery and Dylan at a party together, something clicked. They were sitting too close, laughing a little too intimately. Ethan watched from across the room, his anger simmering as the realization hit him. Avery had moved on, and she was doing it with his best friend. As the days wore on, Ethan began to grow increasingly agitated. He started asking Avery questions about her relationship with Dylan, but she remained tight-lipped, playing her part in the revenge. "Why are you hanging out with him so much?" Ethan demanded one evening, his voice tinged with jealousy. "What's going on?" Avery could see the cracks in his facade, the jealousy eating away at him. She simply shrugged and responded, "I'm just having fun, Ethan. Is that so wrong?" But Ethan wasn't fooled. He suspected something deeper was happening, and that's when he finally confronted Dylan. "Dylan, what's going on between you two?" Ethan spat, his anger now boiling over. Dylan, cool and composed, looked Ethan in the eye and calmly answered, "You don't deserve her, Ethan. She deserves someone who respects her, who actually cares about her. I'm just giving her what you couldn't." The blow to Ethan was immediate. His best friend had not only stolen his girlfriend, but had exposed him for the coward he truly was. Ethan tried to apologize, to beg for Avery's forgiveness, but it was too late. Avery wasn't the same woman who had stood by him. She was stronger, empowered by her own decisions. The tables had turned, and Ethan was now the one left begging. In the end, Avery walked away from Ethan for good. There were no tears, no apologies, just a sense of relief. She realized that the revenge had been a way for her to reclaim her dignity. But she didn't need to hold on to the bitterness anymore. She was free, free from the man who had hurt her, free from the man who never truly appreciated her. As for Dylan, their relationship blossomed naturally. They didn't rush into anything, but over time, Avery began to see him in a different light. He had always been the one who cared, the one who was there when she needed support. Slowly but surely, they fell in love, not because of revenge, but because of genuine feelings that had been hidden beneath the surface for far too long. Ethan, on the other hand, was left to face the consequences of his actions. He had lost not only Avery, but also the one person he had considered his best friend. The hurt of that betrayal would linger for a long time, and the realization that he had no one to blame but himself gnawed at him. Avery, however, was no longer a victim. She had taken back control of her life, and in doing so, had found happiness and love with someone who truly cared about her. She had learned the importance of self-worth and the power of taking charge of her own destiny. As she walked down the path of her new life with Dylan, she couldn't help but smile. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and share with your friends. Subscribe for more dramatic, engaging stories that will keep you on the edge of your seat.